Hello, it is Jack Gill. Welcome to Anfield Agenda. Tonight is the night. It is Liverpool versus Chelsea live at 8:15. A huge game. Let's not underestimate this game. It is absolutely huge for our top four chances. I think I've said all week it's a must-win game. As much as I still believe that. I think the win is very important for us tonight. It's more than anything. It's a must-not-lose, isn't it? And it's at Anfield. We've lost four on the bounce at Anfield. We want to change that run of form, and we need 3 points this evening to look forward to where we're going to finish at the end of the season. A defeat tonight, I think, would be a big loss for us. But let's stay in this in a positive mindset ahead of the game and focus on the good stuff. And before the team news is announced in around 15 minutes, there's been a bit of early squad news and a boost for us as James Carroll has confirmed that Diogo Jota is in the Liverpool squad tonight. I personally think he'll be on the bench, but he'll be a very good option from the bench. And our bench in the last few weeks has looked incredibly poor. If I'm honest with you, there's been no one on there who has been able to change the game or have an impact on the game going forwards. Naby came off the bench against Sheffield United, but prior to that game, it was only really Divock Origi who may have made an impact off the bench. Oxlade-Chamberlain too, but we've not seen too much of him recently. Diogo Jota being back in that squad for the first time since December is a huge boost for us, and he will be a very important part of us trying to make that push for top four and Champions League football next season. I've put on the screen there score predictions, everyone. I'm going to read out your score predictions, any team news. Do you agree with me? Do you think Diogo Jota will be on the bench tonight? Personally, I think we'll see Fabinho straight back into the starting 11 and Jota on the bench. I think Naby Keita will be on the bench this season too. So let me know. Also, before I go into the comments, there has been a change of official for this evening. Martin Atkinson will now referee the game. Craig Pawson has pulled out due to a COVID case, a close contact of his. So he will now be in isolation. So let me go over to your comments and see what you're predicting for today's game. And how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling ahead of the game. I am quite nervous. I'm a bag of nerves. I've been trying to get on with my uni assignment today, but I am so nervous ahead of this game, as well as excited. I believe this could be one of the most important games of the season for Liverpool Football Club. Let's go back to the game at Stamford Bridge earlier on in the season. I think that was one of our best performances of the season against 10-man Chelsea. Obviously, we saw Thiago for the first time in a Liverpool shirt. He broke a record that day. We looked outstanding, didn't we? And it was an important win for us. And right back then, we looked like we were going to be, a side that are challenging for the title again, but we fell off at the start of 2021, didn't we? But let me have a look here. As I say, the team news will be announced at 7:15, and then I'll go through what the lineup is. But for now, I'm going to be taking predictions ahead of the game. Who do you think will be on the score sheet? Do you think, obviously, there was a red card in the last game. Do you think it will finish 11v11 today? Let me know in the comments all your predictions ahead of the game. K-Dot straight away, not happy about Martin Atkinson as a referee. Yep, we had the boost of Jota it being announced in the squad this evening, but there is that negative, that referee change. Martin Atkinson, who a lot of Liverpool fans aren't impressed with. I'm one of them. I'm not a big fan of Martin Atkinson at all. But yeah, he will be the referee this evening, and hopefully he can produce a good performance. A comment here from Majid saying Salah's due a goal. We remember a couple of seasons ago that beautiful strike from Mohamed Salah against Chelsea. I'd love something similar to that tonight. Score prediction from me before I get a few from you lot. I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. I'd love to see Liverpool edge it. If we do, I think it'll be 2-1. But my realistic expectations for this evening is that it'll be a draw, and I think it'll be 1-1. I think we'll be the better side, and we'll be frustrated again in front of goal. I can see Jota coming on off the bench and bagging the goal for us. But yeah, my prediction for this evening is 1-1. But I'd love to see us win. I think it's going to be a very tight game, and we've seen Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel have been resurgent. You know, they've looked really good. They've only conceded 1 goal. They like to play possession-based football. The goal that they've conceded was, of course, Takumi Minamino, who's on loan at Southampton. A lot of people happy that Diogo is back. He's a Judah. Spam that caps lock and put Diogo back. Yeah, a huge boost for us. We can't underestimate how important Jota was for us at the start of the season, and it's a massive boost for us to have him back this season. Fabinho as well. 2-1 to Liverpool, says Majid Hussein. 2-1 to Liverpool also, says Kian. Let's have a look. Any more score predictions in the comments here? 3-1 to Liverpool, says Jack Paul. Any more for any more? 1-0 to Chelsea, says Joshua Lewington. 2-1 to Chelsea, says Nick Hill. 5-0 to Chelsea, says Certified JN. Abstract Gamer thinks 2-0 to Chelsea. Chicken Boy says 2-1 to Liverpool. 4-0 to the Reds, says Mo Sam. I'd love a big win tonight. There's nothing more that I'd want, but I can't see it. I think it's going to be a very close game. Marn says hopefully we get the dub. But also wants to shout out his mom. Fair enough. Leo Barry says 2-1 for me to Liverpool. 3-2 says Matty Stallard. 3-1 to Liverpool, says Buka. Kate 2.0 says 3-0 to Liverpool. Andrew Quinn says 2-1 to Liverpool. Reese Tucker says 3-1. So yeah, lots of different score predictions ahead of this game. A big hello from Liam Barry. Some more comments coming in as we go. Will is a little nervous ahead of the game. 4-1 to Liverpool, says Johnny Byrne. John Taylor thinks it'll be a close 1-0 win. 2-1 LFC, says Timo. Lars thinks it'll be 1-1, agreeing with me. Musa Khan says 2-0. OG Jonesy says 1-0 to Chelsea. EB Play says 2-2. Yeah, so a lot of different score predictions. 0-0 here, the first 0-0 I've seen from Joubert. It wouldn't surprise me. 0-0 draw tonight. I think, as I said, both sides may see this game as a must not lose. Jack Paul has put in here, quite simply, come on, Reds. I think that's the energy we need to put into this game. You know, I spoke quite highly ahead of the Merseyside derby. I felt positive ahead of the game. I was optimistic. I thought that Liverpool would put all the energy from the win against Leipzig and turn a form around against Everton. But it wasn't to be. You know, we weren't too good that day, and you know, we'll put that defeat behind us. What we do need to do, however, is we saw a little tweak in the system against Sheffield United. We saw a good performance against Sheffield United, a lot better. It was there, and I'd like to see more of the same tonight against Chelsea. And you know, us to get a string of good results in. We know, obviously, next weekend we've got Fulham, Leipzig round the corner too. So, you know, tonight, I believe, is a massive game. And at the end of the season, I think we'll look back at this as one of the most important games of the season. I really do. More score predictions and team news predictions, actually. We've got one from TNR419 saying Jota should be starting. I don't think he'll be rushed. I think he'll have half an hour. I think Klopp... Tonight, I think it'll be a very tight first hour. I think it'll be very close. And then I can see Naby Keita and Diogo Jota being introduced early on. That's how I think it'll be. So, yeah, that's my prediction for this game. Divock Origi, says Nikhil. I want him nowhere near the starting lineup tonight. But, you know, whether he'll come on from the bench and produce a winner, who knows? He's not been in the best of form this season, has he? Zach Wacker says 3-1 to Liverpool. Easy Scotty 99 saying as well, pointing to the fact that it's a massive boost having Alisson back in there. You know, he's a man. He's got big balls, Alisson Becker. You know, to be only away for a week and to only miss the one game after everything he's been through the last week. He's some character. He's some man, Alisson Becker, because I don't think I'd be able to come back that quickly after the loss of his father, you know, in the circumstances that they were too. And, you know, I saw a lovely Instagram post that he posted earlier, and it'll be a big night for Alisson Becker. I'd love to see him get a clean sheet this evening and for us to get the 3 points for him and his family, because what a horrible week for the Becker family. And it's absolutely outstanding to see him back in training this week, and I reckon he'll be starting between the sticks for Liverpool tonight. So yeah, huge respect to Alisson, because I know myself I wouldn't be able to, and he's got, he's made steel, that lad, he really is. Let's go red, says Ben Cullingham. Yeah, absolutely, we need to be full of spirit tonight, really optimistic ahead of the game. Mohammed wants to see Shaqiri for creativity this evening. Dan says it's great to see the team and the fans behind Ali. Yeah, absolutely, as you'd like any team would probably do. But it's a difficult situation. It was lovely to see Curtis Jones at the end of the Sheffield United game dedicate the win and dedicate his goal to Alisson Becker. So yeah, a lovely thing to do from Curtis Jones. And as I say, I'm sure tonight, if we can get the win, if we get the 3 points, if we get the clean sheet, it'll very much be dedicated to the Becker family and Alisson's father who passed away. Jack Paul says catered to start, question mark. Interesting one. I think he'll be on the bench. I don't think he'll be rushed into start. I think he'll begin the game on the bench, but I think he'll be introduced with half an hour or so to go, and he could really come on off the bench when the game is really tight and be something can be a player that changes the game in our favour. So I'm really excited to see Naby over the next few weeks. I feel like he'll be another important player, determining whether we'll be in the top 4 come the end of the season. So yeah, I'm really excited to see Naby, but I don't think he'll start this evening. Haroon says we need Keita. There we go. That's your opinion. I think the midfield will be unchanged personally. But Cube thinks Fab, Thiago and Gini has to be on midfield. Interesting on that. How can you drop Curtis Jones after how he's been performing recently? That is the question I'll pose to you. I think he's been outstanding. I think he's undroppable at the moment. I really do. Ibs K thinks we will see Fabs back in the defence. Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot this week on Fabinho, whether he'll be back in the midfield, whether he'll be back and straight into the defence. I think that's where he'll be. I think he'll partner Kabak at the back today. But we've only got 3 minutes before the team news, so it's not long now before we'll know. Let's have a look in the comments. Curtis must start, man in form, says Mohammed. Completely agree with you. He is really in form at the minute, and I'm gutted that in a month we'll probably lose him to England in the European Championships. Of course, at the end of this month, start of next month, it's the under-21s European Championships, and unfortunately, I think we'll lose Curtis Jones to that. Ibs K thinks Naby is on the bench. Ryan LFC Gaming wants to see Salah on the score sheet tonight. Any more comments? Kate thinks Jota will come on at half-time if there's no goals. Comment here from Mohammed again saying, I think it's really will be good if Kabak and Phillips are at the back and Fabinho plays at the centre. I would be slightly worried with Kabak and Phillips at the back personally. I think they did well against Sheffield United, but Chelsea's a complete different ball game. I really do. I'm expecting Fabinho to partner either Kabak or Nat Phillips at the back today, and I personally think it'll be Kabak, to be honest with you. Sakina says, I've seen the lineup, Jack. Interesting. I haven't, and I'll wait until it's announced officially at 15:15 to go through it with you lot. My phone's going mad, and I'm sure I've been sent different lineups or what the suggested lineup is. However, I'm not going to announce anything to you unless it is until it is official. Sorry. Leah Emery thinks Thiago has to start. Remember, Thiago's probably Thiago's best performance in the Liverpool shirt was against Chelsea earlier on in the season, where he broke records. So I think Thiago will start tonight, and I think it will be an unchanged midfield for Liverpool this evening. Podge says Curtis couldn't be dropped the way he's performing at the minute. And I completely agree, and I think that's why the midfield will be unchanged, and I think Fabinho will be put in at the back this evening to give us a bit more security in defence. But it'll be interesting. I've seen loads of predicted starting 11s this evening and throughout the day, and people have been putting us in a back 3 based on how we played the other night. And I think there's a question now as to what system Liverpool will shape up in this evening. So it's very interesting. RSH14 pointing me over to Twitter as lineups should be coming shortly. Yes, I'm expecting it at 7:15. Don't worry, I've got my eye on it. more comments here. Rapids says 2-1 in my opinion. Come on, you Reds. Comment here from Dev K saying Thiago slows the game down. He needs to be dropped unless Fab is in midfield. I think he's done a fine job. I don't think you can put our recent form solely on Thiago. You know, there's so many issues at the moment. You can't put it solely on Thiago. And I do expect to see that midfield three that we've seen in the last few games. Here is the LFC lineup. There, it has been released now. It is Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold at right back. Fabinho and Kabak is the centre-back pairing, as I thought, with Robertson as left-back. The midfield three is the same, Wijnaldum, Thiago and Jones. And then Salah, Firmino and Mane is the front three. So that is the FC starting lineup today. The substitutes for Liverpool are Adrian Milner, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Diogo Jota, Xherdan Shaqiri, Origi, Reece Williams and Nico Williams. So already that Liverpool bench looking a bit stronger than it has in recent weeks. Let me know what you think of that lineup. I think it's a solid side. It's what I expected before the game. It would have been my prediction for the lineup today. And, you know, it's good to see the likes of Naby, the likes of Diogo Jota on the bench, Shaqiri too. They could be real game changers off the bench today. I do believe the game will be tight, and you know the substitutions could be absolutely pivotal this evening. They really will. So you know it's a good side, I think, and a strong bench for Liverpool this evening. Celebratory Fabinho from Joanne Fisher, straight back from injury, straight into the starting 11 and straight into the back four. The Chelsea lineup is as follows: Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, Reece James, Jorginho and Kante. Chilwell starts for Chelsea, Ziyech, Mount and Werner. So a back five for Chelsea, as we've seen so often under Thomas Tuchel in his his early stages at Chelsea. Chaz the Gaffer says Jota and Naby off the bench to bring the gegenpressing back. Adam Collins simply says, "Come on, you Reds!" Yes, it is a pivotal game for our whole season this tonight, and we need to put our current form at Anfield behind us. And 3 points is so important tonight. RSH 14 pointing out no Giroud. Good. You know, I think a lot of people were worried about Giroud with the form he's been in recently. Let me have a look at the bench for Chelsea. Kepa, Zuma, Alonso, Emerson, Hudson-Odoi, Kovacic, Havertz, Pulisic and Giroud. So, you know, Chelsea bench really strong. And as I say, the substitutions for both sides could be really important tonight. Matt Frusher says, Ben Davies, ? He's got a knock, mate. It was the reason he wasn't in the squad against Sheffield United too. A minor injury. It was called by the club, but we've seen so often when the club say it's a minor injury, we don't see them for a while. But it's interesting as well that Phillips isn't in the squad, which seems very harsh unless he's picked up a knock too. You know, based on his current form, for him to not be in the squad this evening would be a bit bizarre. But you know, I wonder if he's picked up a knock. I'm sure we'll hear about that soon. The big boost for us today is that Fabinho is back in this side, straight into the starting 11. Clearly, his importance recognised by Jurgen Klopp as much as it is to us fans. Joe Barnes has realised that Jota is on the bench. Yes, also another big boost for us this evening. Jota on the bench. Another one, of course, Alisson Becker returns to the starting 11, having him between the sticks after everything he's gone on in this recent week is massive for Liverpool. So Adrian did well, I think, against Sheffield United. He didn't have too much to do. He did well. He got a clean sheet, but it's a great boost for us to have Alisson back in that starting 11 tonight. Loads of questions about Virgil van Dijk when he's coming back, Haaland to Liverpool. But let's focus on tonight. Let's focus on what is a huge game and a hugely important game for us in terms of the rest of the season and where we finish. You know, Champions League football is the aim for the end of the season. For next season. And, you know, top four now is the focus. It looks like City will run away with the title. It's a matter of when, if not if now, for Manchester City. So for us now, our target is the top four, and we're against top four rivals tonight in Chelsea, who have been in resurgent form since Thomas Tuchel Tuchel has taken over Frank Lampard. They've only conceded 1 goal. They've not lost in 8 games. It's going to be a difficult task for Liverpool this evening. RSH14 pointing out that top 4 and UCL win is what we aim for. Absolutely. Joanne Fisher asking what time Craig is on. Craig should be live from around 20 to 8. That is 7:40 p.m. for his live watch along of this game. A massive game, and I'm sure Craig will be really up for it this evening. Ben Cullingham says, I hope Alisson gets a clean sheet for his confidence. Yeah, a man of the match performance from Alisson tonight would be lovely. It really would. A clean sheet is very important tonight, and fingers crossed we get it. It'd be massive for Alisson Becker, and I'm sure it would be quite emotional for him at the end if we get 3 points and a clean sheet. eCorey671 says, Jota super sub is on. Yes, we saw earlier in the season against West Ham, Jota and Shaqiri came off the bench there and completely changed the game. And I can see something similar to that this evening. We've got Jota on the bench, Shaqiri on the bench, Naby on the bench, Origi on the bench, Oxlade-Chamberlain on the bench. Players that can change the game. In particular, my eyes on, Shaqiri, Jota and Naby. I think they'll be our 3 subs this evening. It'll be interesting to see whether they have an impact from the bench. James Ogville says he predicts Jota will come on and score the winner. As you can see now, the starting 11 is along the bottom of the screen. Aidan Sheridan says it's Fulham 1, Spurs 1. Interesting scoreline elsewhere. And, Fulham, a side that we have in the next few weeks. We have them next weekend, actually. And, they're in decent form at the minute. They're managing to pick up more points. Spurs, a side that are rivaling us for the top 4. So a big scoreline for us over there. Blinetto says, I feel confident today about Liverpool. Yeah, I think it's a confidence boost to have Jota back in the squad, to have Fabinho and Alisson back in the starting 11. I think it's a good boost for our confidence ahead of the game. But I'm also slightly nervous because, as I said, the magnitude of this game can't be underestimated. It is huge for us. Jack Paul says he's liking the midfield at the minute. Yep. Curtis Jones banging 4. I think Wijnaldum played a really good part against Sheffield United. People, are liking Thiago, and he's not making as many rash challenges as he did a few weeks before. Interesting. We have a few Chelsea fans in the comments. Carol simply saying Liverpool are not winning tonight. We'll see about that. We'll see if you're back in the comments at the end of the game, eh? Richarlison's just scored for Everton as well, apparently. Another big scoreline for the top 4 race. But yes, as you can see, the team news is down below. Let me know what you think in the comments in terms of the starting 11, score predictions. Keep them all coming in. And remember, straight after I finish on here, Craig will be live for the watch along from 7:40. Still 18 minutes away though, but yes, Everton have gone 1-0 up against West Brom. Richarlison, the goal scorer, and Sigurdsson, the man who got the assist for Everton there with 25 minutes to go. Remember as well the referee change ahead of tonight's game. Craig Dawson has had to drop out due to COVID reasons, which means Martin Atkinson will be the man in the middle tonight. So, a few people worried about that, but we'll see how the game fares. We've not had the best of luck with VAR and officials at times this season, but I think it's fair to say across the board, the majority of them are pretty poor. So I'm never excited by having a certain official. Let's have a look here. Apparently, there was a Fulham handball in the build-up, so their goal hasn't stood. Let's have a look at the rest of the comments. I hate Mondays, think it'll be 0-0. Sadly, Phillips is either injured or Klopp didn't want to use him, says Mark Caldwell. Yeah, I think it has to be an injury because, he's not put a foot wrong in recent games. And, he's certainly above Reece Williams in the pecking order. So for me, he has to have picked up a knock or an illness or something. K-Dot says no ifs or buts or maybes. We need to win. Yeah, I completely agree. I think more than a must-win game, it's a must-not-lose game. However, I think it's still a must-win game. I really do. I think 3 points are essential, quintessential for this Liverpool side this evening. Adam Doherty pointed out it's 2 German managers going head-to-head this evening. Yep, both managers talking before the game about facing each other tonight, and I think both are heavily tipped to take over from Joachim Low as the German manager. Paul O'Malley thinks it'll be 6-0 this evening. I hope it's not pointing, not something that Craig keeps calling me. Rapids says, who do you think will score, if anyone? I'm backing a Jota goal from the bench. That's what I'm going with this evening. I'm thinking it's going to be 0-0 for the first, for the first half. We'll go into the break all square. I think Chelsea will get an early goal in the second half, and I think our subs will change the game. And I think Jota will come off the bench to score the equaliser. That's my opinion. I'd love to see us win this evening, though. Mohammed saying, let's go. Salah, Mane, Jota, Firmino, goals. Hopefully we can see Liverpool side getting a few more goals this evening. Adrian saying, my score predictions, his is 2-1. A lot of people think it's going to be a tight game this evening. I agree. K-Dot thinks there's going to be lots of goals in it, though. Oops, I didn't mean to put that on the screen. K-Dot says 3-2 Liverpool with 2 from Mane and 1 from Jota. Paul O'Malley says 2-1 prediction this evening. We've had lots of 2-1s. Louis also says 2-1 to the Reds with Mane and Fabinho on the goals. Also putting at the end there, YNWA. Thiago Season pointing out Chelsea have a strong bench. They do have a strong bench. However, I do think this Liverpool bench is looking a lot stronger this evening. It's really good to see. I think, in the last few games, our bench, we've looked to it, and when things haven't been going too well for Liverpool, there's been no one really on the bench who can change things. Whereas tonight, obviously, a big boost for us to have Diogo Jota back on the bench. We saw Naby get a few minutes against Sheffield United. I think we'll get to see him have a few more tonight. Our bench is looking a lot stronger, and it's really nice to see. Oasis 2-1 to the Reds. More comments here. 2-0 to us, says Harvey Cudworth. Favourite player, says Paul O'Malley. I've seen this a few times from him. Virgil van Dijk, undoubtedly. At the minute, big fan of Curtis Jones. I think his evolution as he's come into this Liverpool first 11 has been outstanding, and the player he's becoming in that number 8. There's not really a player for Liverpool that I don't like, to be honest with you. 2-2, says Anthony Perry Dore. He thinks a double for Werner. And then Bobby and Jota scoring for LFC. Obviously, it's a big task to keep Timo Werner quiet. We did well at keeping him quiet against Chelsea earlier on in the season at Stamford Bridge. He hasn't had the best of starts at Chelsea, but tonight will be the night he looks to turn it around against the side that were also in the race to sign him in the summer. We were heavily linked with him, and I remember talking about him every single day for several months at the start of 2020. Let's have a look. More comments before I go. I'll be on here for about 7 minutes more before I send you over to Craig at 7:40 as he starts his watch along. Jensen Bentley not too happy seeing Jota on the bench. He says get him on. It's an interesting one. I think I knew Jota would be on the bench now. I didn't expect Klopp to throw him in straight away, and as I say, he can have a really good impact from the bench. I think he can't be rushed. We've seen his importance, and we've missed him since Klopp risked him in a needless game in Denmark. I think for me, I'm happy to see him back in the squad tonight. And baby steps. He'll get half an hour, I reckon, and he could play an important role from the bench. Klopp doesn't risk players, says Cape 2.0, and says Jota can't be rushed or he'll get injured. Fred Clark thinks 2-1 Chelsea. DC Plays says genuinely delighted with the team. Come on the Reds. Yeah, I am very impressed. I think it's a strong side. I was predicting this all week. I thought this would be the side, and I've been proved right. That midfield 3 that's been unchanged the last few games seems to be Klopp's tried and trusted midfield 3 of the last few games or so. Midfield 3 starting Fabinho, put back into that defence alongside Kabak. Will be interesting to see. Fingers crossed. It's a big performance tonight and a big win. K. Dot says who's captain tonight. I assume it'll be Gini Wijnaldum. Spencer Stewart says 1-0 to the Reds. Up the Reds. Another one thinking it'll be a very, very tight game. Sonners thinks it'll be tight, but thinks there'll be a lot of goals. 3-2. He says with Bobby and Mo scoring first, and then Jota coming on and scoring. Fingers crossed on that. Kate 2.0 can't wait to see Fab in action. Elegate asking for my thoughts on Kabak and Fabinho at the back. I think Werner's pace could cause them problems as they're quite slow. Interesting. Yeah, I was worried about Phillips and Kabak at the back for pace, and Fabinho isn't exactly an upgrade on pace. I think Fabinho would bring more of a leadership thing at the back alongside Kabak. It is a worry for me, the pace at the back. It has been for the last couple of weeks, but it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Once again, another partnership, another centre-back partnership being played by Jurgen Klopp this season, added to the long list of centre-back pairings we've already gone with. Paul and Marley says Fabinho back is a game changer. Comment here from Olsen Kent saying, I think we will win 2-0 with Kabak having his best game alongside Fabinho. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Jack Paul saying Trent to stay back a bit with pace, with Robbo pushing up on the left. Dara Azizi saying, is Nat on the bench? No, he's not. I don't know where he is. And Ben Drinkle also asking, why is Phillips not involved? No idea. I assume he's picked up a knock, and it's interesting whether, if he was available, if he was in the squad tonight, if it is a knock, whether Fabinho would have been in midfield tonight. Let me know what you think. Jordan McGee says, do you think Tuchel is a good manager? Yeah, I rate him. I think he's a decent manager. The impact he's had on Chelsea has been a good one thus far. However, I don't think we can read too much into it. So at the moment, because the new manager bounce is a thing, and once they get the first defeat, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. But I thought his substitutions against Southampton when things weren't quite working for him were incredibly ballsy. So I was impressed with that. People suggesting an injury for Nat Phillips. That's what I think it would most likely be. I can't see him not being involved for any other reason. I think he's either picked up a knock or perhaps an illness. We saw Diogo Jota was absent for the Sheffield United game due to illness, so it may be that too. Sonners thinks Gini will be all right as captain, but will come off during the second half. Interesting. The minutes played under Jurgen Klopp for Gini Wijnaldum. It'll be interesting to see if he does go off. And obviously, it's gutting for us that we're losing him in the summer. I think, as we saw Gary Neville say earlier on in the week, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I really do. Gaming Time says, do you think we will be playing in the Champions League next season, realistically? Ask me that at the end of the game, because I think tonight is a hugely important night in terms of that. I really, really do. If we lose tonight, I'll be saying no chance. A draw, I'll be saying hopefully, and a win, I'll think that we are absolutely in the race, and top four is very, very realistic for the end of the season, and hopefully it'll show that we've put our form at the start of 2021 behind us. But yeah, I think I don't want to say something now and jinx us ahead of the game. I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, but ask me in just over 90 minutes. Comments here saying, if we win, we go fourth. This is absolutely huge. Yes, I keep saying, I've said all week, a must-win game as far as I'm concerned. More than that, it's a must-not-lose game. But for me, it's a must-win game. Let's get a win again. Let's turn around our form at Anfield. Let's get back in form. Let's see Liverpool back. We've been boosted by the return of Fabinho, the return of Alisson, the return of Diogo Jota, and let's have 3 points tonight. Let's kickstart now, and let's get in good form between now and the end of the season. As I've said before, I'll say now as I'm wrapping up, remember that Craig will be live on Anfield Agenda from 7:40 for the live watch along this evening. And then I think I'll probably be back after the game for my match reaction. Craig will also do a match reaction. Remember, my prediction for this evening is 1-1, but I'm hoping Liverpool will edge it. I think Jota will certainly make a big impact from the bench. Naby and Shaqiri, I expect to as well. So yes, big game. We can't underestimate it. Crossing everything ahead of this one as Liverpool face Chelsea at Anfield at 8:15 kickoff. Remember to join Craig live from 7:40 for the live watch along. But I shall leave you all now. See you soon. Enjoy the game. Up the Reds. Ta-ra.